Recording. Hello on a very wet spring day. I really appreciate those who do show up for these recording sessions, and those of you who are out there looking at recordings and whatnot. Hey, we're all in this trying to help. As you can see, Puppy is a little distracted and a little wet because we have some ducks in the yard who are wandering around in the rain, and basically that's your job to go and herd them back to the pond. So we'll be back in 2 seconds. Come on, go fly like the wind. Chase the ducks back to the pond, so that keeps her occupied and exercising on a very, very rainy day. Anyway, what we're going to do in class, we have a couple of things going on. First of all, as you see, curved up the test a whole 12 points. Now, the way Canvas does that is that it makes me curve the class average up. So when I do this, it moves, for some reason, a grade goes down here or there. If that happened to you, I will fix it. So that's it, just moves up the whole class average. And so that'll help everybody's grade. We are here to help, and I will try to make it a little bit more accessible on the next test. Now, some of the comments I've gotten on it say, hey, the most common one was that the study guide was not particularly helpful. Well, the thing is, I think we have a lot of freshmen in this class are expecting the study guide to give you the answers. One of the differences between college and high school is we try to help you think, give you some things to think about, but we're not here to give you the answers and repeat them back. This is kind of one of those higher thinking sorts of things, and it is an adjustment. So you'll do better next time. I will curve up tests. I will have an extra credit question posted today. So I'm trying to do it all I can. So that's what we're doing today. And the stuff we're going to talk about in this next unit, we did the law overview last time. Today we will do a little about privacy, and then we'll start with libel. And you notice this is from the European Union.
So, you were born. Then you start living your life.
And anytime you post anything like this, the whole world can see it. And guess what? You're in public. You may as well post anything that you have on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. You may as well just walk down the street with it, because you're in public and the whole world can see it.
Now you're entitled to your own social media profile. You're in. Welcome to your social media reality.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you're 18 now. Do you want to know the other side of the story? Did you see the picture that was taken and uploaded by your parents? This information was collected, analyzed, and may be sold by the social media to its affiliates and partners.
Yep.
Even before you are conscious of it, you start existing on the internet, and data starts being compiled about you.
And even though this is from Europe, guess what? People in Europe or Asia can see your stuff as well as somebody next door.
To be used sometime later. Let's have a further look. The internet knows where you study, even before you have the chance to enter that information in the online space. This may not bother you. Who cares where you studied? But what happens when you've started your own social media activities? Social media platforms, websites, and mobile applications collect, process, and profile your data into statistics that are ready to be sold. By agreeing to the terms and conditions of a social media network, websites, and mobile applications, you grant permissions to their owners to collect, process, and sell personal details such as information you provide, uploaded data containing information regarding your geolocation, which can help people track you down, information that other people provide, information about your devices from which you have logged on to social media, your location, operating system, and device settings, information about you visiting and using other websites which have integrated social media services. Even when you are not logged into your social media profile, these actors may provide information to social media. Information provided by social media's affiliates and partners. Information that the mobile application gathers from your phone. This data about you and millions of other users is utilized by companies. Actually, your likes, shares, and posts reveal a lot about your personality. Companies modify their goods and services, considering your preferences revealed to them through an analysis of your online behavior. They use models for profiling so as to extract information about your habits, habits that even you did not notice. They get insights on your preferences, sexual orientation, financial situation, social circle, political affiliation, and religious beliefs. They even try to judge what your level of intelligence is. Your next employer may have access to such information and may already know more about you than you know about yourself. Under certain circumstances, this data may also be used by public authorities for deciding whether you are a threat to national security. You may or may not be okay with this, but the important part is being aware of the other side of the story. Privacy policies usually contain a lot of text, but do always read your privacy policy and adjust your privacy settings. You can reap the benefits of the digital world, but you should do it in a smart way and protect yourself from risks. If you want to know as much as I do and more about online privacy and data protection, check out http://engaged.mappingtheinternet.
Welcome to it. It's a new world out there. And a lot of this information you may be putting out in public, but the platform that you're using it on is private. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Some things are public and anyone can see them. Anything you put out in public, and I'll even add something to this. Yep, internet and social media posts are things that you can put on, anybody can see. However, in public, if you put something in public, you can't interrupt a function. You can't photobomb a press conference by the governor, for example. Or you can't photobomb one of my presentations. You can't just interrupt it. My dog can't bark anything because it's a public thing. So what's public and what's private? Private, a home or a business. Or the owner. Okay. The government does not own TikTok. I think the Chinese do. Government does not own Instagram, Facebook, whatever, Snapchat. Nope. Those are all private companies, and they could do whatever they want with the information. They can sell it, they can buy it. And if they don't like your politics or your religion, too bad. They are a private company. They could do whatever they want. Private schools, Lee University can limit your free speech. Lee University up the street or Bryant College can limit gay and lesbian students or organizations because they are private. A public institution like UTC has to follow public laws. So if you want to do anything, if you want to post anything different or special, you need to get permission. Same thing with a house. If you're having a party and somebody's getting a little messy, you do not need to take pictures of, you don't need permission of the person to videotape them getting silly. You need permission of the owner of the house or the host of the party. Private places can limit free speech and other practices because it's just like being in your house. Facebook is Mark Zuckerberg's house, so he can do whatever. Private but open to the public like a mall parking lot, even though you can walk in the door. It is still a private place and they can say, go away, don't take pictures, put down your camera. Now for the media, here is public places, this is what's public spaces, public buildings, views, private homes and businesses. Privacy and the media.
Next up is invasion of privacy. The law recognizes that everyone has, under certain circumstances, a legal right to simply be left alone. It provides that there are certain subjects, certain places, and certain actions that are nobody else's business. On the other side, however, the law also recognizes that at some point, a person's right to privacy gives way. For example, many things that people do significantly affect others, and the public, often by way of the press, has a right or a need to know about them. In the parlance of journalism, such information is said to be newsworthy. Invasion of privacy law is all about balancing these two sometimes competing interests. While the law can vary by state, courts have generally recognized 4 different types of invasion of privacy: public disclosure of private and embarrassing facts, intrusion, false light, and misappropriation. We'll cover each briefly.
By the way, just a little background here. If you remember, we talked about lawsuits. All of these are lawsuits. You don't go to jail for any of these things. So you have to prove someone's been damaged. What gets damaged? Your reputation. If you are hurt by any of these things, you can sue and get damages, but you're not going to go to jail. and you have to prove that you have actually been hurt by this embarrassment.
Each briefly. The first, and for student media, probably most important and common category of invasion of privacy is the public disclosure of private and embarrassing facts. The title actually describes the problem accurately. This type of invasion of privacy occurs when you publish information about someone that is so private, so embarrassing, and so intimate that a reasonable person would be shocked that you actually published it. The danger here is that, unlike libel, it is no defense that the information is true. Rather, it is simply that you crossed the line in publishing it. The good news is that this is usually the type of information that should set off some alarm bells prior to publication. For example, providing graphic details about a person's private sex life, disclosing that an otherwise private person has a medical condition that they've yet to make public, or publishing detailed information about a person's grades when there is no good or newsworthy reason for doing so would be examples of this type of invasion of privacy. On the other hand,
By the way, they mentioned grades. This is why it's such an issue for us. About 20 years ago, the government passed the Federal Educational Records Privacy Act, the FERPA law, which makes your grades even though in a public school, your grades are a private information and private matter. So I cannot discuss your grades via email because this is a public school and someone could look at my emails. So I can't email you about a private matter, which is your grades. I can't tell your parents. It has to be between you and me in a private one-to-one discussion. Now, another thing with that in student records also is a private matter is matters of conduct. If you're in trouble for plagiarism or something like that, that's between you and the school. The downside of that is in a case like sexual assault. If somebody commits a sexual assault on campus, it becomes a private matter between the person and the school, and we may never know about it.
information that is just mildly embarrassing or that is already fairly well known is insufficient to support a private facts claim. The primary defense to this kind of invasion of privacy claim is newsworthiness. If information is truly newsworthy, it will not be considered unlawful. Also, if a person consents to your publishing otherwise private information about them, they generally cannot later claim you have invaded their privacy. Intrusion is the next type of invasion of privacy claim. Unlike
Intrusion just basically says that someone invaded your privacy no matter what it is, and just the fact that they are in your face is harmful.
Like the other categories, intrusion claims are not based on what you publish, but rather on how you obtained or gathered the information in the first place. Again, the idea is that there are certain private places that should be off limits to others, including reporters, unless a person has given you permission to be there. Bedrooms, bathrooms, locker rooms, or private office would all be common examples of a private space where a reporter could be found to have invaded someone's privacy if they went in without permission or used a secret listening device or camera to peek inside. On the other hand, other places are clearly public, a public sidewalk or street, a public park, a courtroom, and reporters generally have the right to report on or photograph anything that happens in such place.
For example, and I have crossed this line when I was a newspaper photographer. I would go down to the playground and watch kids playing. Cute kids playing on a nice spring day is a nice picture. Now, occasionally parents would say, OMG, who is this guy taking pictures of my kids? Well, they're in public and the view is public. They can call the police can come and check me out, and I could say, I'm a photographer taking pictures, this is a public place and it's legal, and that's that. Unfortunately, bad people taking pictures can also take pictures. So, I mean,
places.
Rated.
Other places fall somewhere in the middle, and it is sometimes left to a court to decide how public or private the space is. The key question in such cases, does the person in such a place have a reasonable expectation of privacy? If not, there can be no successful claim. Newsworthiness and consent are also the primary defenses to an intrusion claim, though in
Now, again, hidden cameras, misrepresentation, reporters can get in trouble for that. Now, what's newsworthy? The basic standard is if you know a crime has been committed and you go in there and you prove a crime is committed, then you're safe. This is why you have to do your homework. If you're going to do the hidden camera thing, you have to know from the get-go that there is a crime being committed. Then you have the reporter from 60 Minutes going, aha, when they do that, they already know they got a crime being committed.
obtaining consent to enter an otherwise private space, it is important to make sure the person giving consent has the authority to do so. It's also important not to lie or misrepresent oneself in order to obtain consent. The third category of invasion of privacy claims is known as false light. Not all states recognize a false light claim because, in many ways, it simply duplicates a libel claim in that the harm occurs when you publish words or images about an individual that portrays him as something he is not. A common example would be publishing an extremely misleading photo caption. For instance, a photo caption that states or clearly implies that an onlooker at a Ku Klux Klan rally is a participant would certainly put them in a false light.
Right.
Other common mistakes include carelessly using an old file photo to illustrate a story in a way that falsely suggests a person is currently engaged in unflattering conduct, or publishing a fake letter to the editor that attributes opinions to an individual that he does not hold. The final category of invasion of privacy claims is also the easiest to identify and avoid. You can get in trouble for misappropriation when you use another person's name, image, voice, or other likeness to help sell something without their permission. The main hotspot here is, of course, advertising and commercial endorsements. If you want to use
and this happens again a lot in photography. If you see a UTC student on the website, that person's image is being used to promote the school. So anytime someone takes a picture of you and they're going to use it as an ad for UTC, they have to get your permission. They can't just throw it up there because they want to. They're promoting the school. They need your permission because your face is going to be on there. And if you want to get paid for them using your face, go right ahead and ask. People often do.
Use a picture of someone or their name, voice, or anything else that is identified with them in an ad to help you sell something, you first have to get their permission. It's as simple as that. It doesn't make any difference whether the person is famous or not. Everyone has the right to control how their image is used when it comes to advertising and endorsements. It should be a standard practice to obtain a signed model release form before creating and publishing any ad that pictures identifiable people. If the subject is a minor and money is involved, you should also obtain permission from the minor's parent or guardian. If you publish an ad created and submitted by a third party, you may want to first have them sign an agreement stating that valid permission has been obtained and that they will be responsible for reimbursing you for any claims that might result if a problem arises.
Now, if you're going to put somebody's picture on social media and 1,000 people see it, they're essentially appearing in public. Now, if you put them saying, hey, Dr. Z uses my Instagram account that I've influenced, if I use a dog product or a gardening product and they use my image to endorse, some sort of dog food, I can sue them for appropriation. Now, if I appear in public with Juniper, they can take my picture. It's when you use that picture or image or whatever for promotional purposes and money gets made, you have a right to ask for compensation if someone uses your face to make money. If you're just appearing in public, then you don't need permission. It's when you make money that it's going to be a difference, when you're promoting something. Okay. Media cannot invade a space unless they know crime is committed. You cannot harass or damage people. Famous paparazzi case, Onassis versus Galella, 1973.
The law protects people against many types of harm, including harm to one's personal space and private life. Infringing on these interests.
Okay. Anyway, back to it. In 1973, the photographer Ron Galella followed Jacqueline Onassis, former wife of President Kennedy, all over the place. And she said, he's in my face. I can't deal. I'm getting headaches. Not sleeping. It's truly damaging. The judge said, okay, the photographer has the right to take a picture of a public view, but you don't have a right to harass people. So he said, must keep 300 feet away. See, you have to balance out the public's right to view anything with the individual's right not to be harassed. If you're going into somebody's house, you need permission to use it and to post it. Now, again, you need, if you see something, you need the permission of the homeowner, not the drunk person at the party. If the homeowner says, go right ahead, take all the pictures you want, you do not need permission to take pictures of your drunk friends. All of this is true of regular folks as well as journalists. Journalists have no more rights than anybody else. We're just the ones who press these rights. So anyway, for example, right now, today, we have the trial of Derek Chauvin, the guy who killed George Floyd. Now, we have lots of video. Why? It was a public space and everybody's videotaping. These days, if something's in public, you see something, you could take all the videos you want. And that has helped law enforcement and victims a great deal, because what you see, if your crime is being committed, you can do it in a private place, in a public space, a street, a road, take all the pictures you want, or videos. Same rules for private citizens as much as journalism people. Is privacy a right? I think we talked about this before. On the other hand, you have a right to see what's in public, but you also have a right to some privacy, like your grades are private. Established Griswold versus Connecticut, condom law. The state of Connecticut says it was illegal to have condoms. The Griswolds sued because they were going to have a big weekend. The Supreme Court rules your sex life is a private case based on unreasonable search and seizure, and the Constitution says it's illegal for the government to house troops. So the condom law was one thing, but 8 years later, the Supreme Court said, well, if the use of a condom is a private matter, so is abortion. That's between a woman and her doctor. It is a private matter legally. 1996, actually it was 2006, in 2006, the Supreme Court used that same ruling in Obergefell to rule that in favor of gay marriage. I think it was even later than, I forgot the year. But the Obergefell case proved that, again, what gay men or gay women, what gay people do in public, in private, is their business. In public, you can limit things, but in private, that's your business. So that is the basis of Obergefell, which allows gay marriage. Again, because you have a right to privacy, you can't get more private than your sex life. You can have an abortion, and gay people could be married because it is a private matter. That is how laws work. Not saying you have to agree, but that's how privacy laws work. So, I mean, I'm just giving you the basics of it. We can go into, a lot more detail, but I want you to just have some basics. And I'll have one question on privacy for extra credit, which is perfect, should be easy. It is optional. It's 5 extra points in your overall grade. I think we've done enough today, really. We'll start with libel on Monday. So anyway, this is what we do with privacy. Might do a discussion item. I'll do something with privacy. Anyway, that's today's thing. I'll do an extra credit for you. We'll probably do something else next week. Anyway, speaking of private and screen share, I can see here, that's my daughter, she's your age, and we talked on Zoom the other day. That's a private thing, but I've chosen to share it in public. Oh, well, it's public now. Anyway, and she's your age, and she's studying theater in New York City. Anyway, I will, that's basically it for privacy. Any other things come up, let me know. And we'll do an extra credit. Any questions from those of you who are here?
I have a question.
Sure, well,
I was just wondering how many tests we would have left.
2 more.
2 more? All right. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Any other stuff? Okay. And I'll probably do at least 1 or 2 more essays, and I grade those easy. I really want to help you get decent grades. But I also want you to think, and I want you to be tested too. Okay. Anyway, stay dry out there. Have a great day. And we'll talk about libel next time.